guo, which is a character that means a bunch of different things. We did a video on it way back a few years ago. This character in itself has a bunch of different definitions depending on the context, but the specific context we want to look at is guo as an experience particle. So it says that you add this on the end of a verb, and it basically means you have experienced or you've done this before. It has happened before. So let's go through some example sentences. So the most basic form of this would be just to add guo after any verb. And it just means I have done this verb before, this doing word, right? So for example, 我骂过我的儿子. 我骂过我的儿子 is like I've scolded my son before. Sometime in the past, in my life, I have done that. That's all that means. And of course, you can use it in a question as well. 你骂过你的儿子吗? Have you ever scolded your son before? And you could answer that with 骂过, 骂过, which means yes. There's no yes or no in Chinese. So that's sort of the most basic way of using this. Let's get a bit more complex now. So take a look at this sentence. 我常常想起来他说过的话. 我常常, I often, 想起来, think of, 他说过的话, the thing she has said. So that's like another way you can use this. 他说过的话. Another one, let's talk about negating. To negate guo, you actually use may, not bu, because remember from our previous classes and the pronunciation mastery course as well, we mentioned that bu is for now and in the future, or just generally I don't do something. But for the past, when you want to say something didn't happen in the past, you always use may. So that's for whether it's a past present or whether it's just talking about experience. So let's have a look at an example sentence for that. 公司从来没有办过活动. 公司从来没有办过活动. 公司 means company. 从来没有. 从来没有 means never before, has never done. 办过活动. So 办过活动 means to hold an event. So this is saying the company or my company has never held an event before in the past. Okay? 公司从来没有办过活动. Another great one from level 23 of our course is 中国有一句话. That's what Chinese people often say. Chinese people say 中国有一句话. It's a very Chinese thing. You don't really hear that in English, do you? English has a thing. English has a phrase, or English has a sentence. It goes like this. It's just weird for us to say that in that particular way, but Chinese people say this a lot. 中国有一句话，不知道你听没听说过. So 听没听, it's like the same thing as 是不是 or 去不去. It's like it's a sentence structure. Okay, it's a question structure rather. So I don't know if, so 不知道你听没听说过, I don't know if you've heard it before. So those are kind of the basics of guo. It's 我骂过我的儿子, like I've done this before or I haven't done this before. That's basically how it's used. And it's pretty straightforward, right? But there's another usage which I wanted to mention here, which is it's still incredibly common, but it's not usually taught. It's something you usually find in day-to-day conversation or whilst listening to real Chinese content or watching Chinese TV or something like that. And it does take people by surprise. It's kind of like it takes a while to figure out consciously. So it goes something like this. 我吃过饭了. 我吃过了. So if someone asks you, a very common phrase in Chinese is 你吃饭了吗? 你吃饭了吗? Like, have you eaten? It's basically what people say just to say, how are you? It's like have you eaten? Yeah, it's just like a cultural thing. And you would say, yeah, 吃了. But you can also ask someone, 你吃过饭了吗? You can add the 过 in there. And you can say, 吃过了, 吃过了. But you as a learner, you always associate 过 with like the distant past, really. Or like sometime in my life, it could be a couple of weeks ago, it could be when I was 5. You don't really associate it with like just now. But when you use 过 and 了 together, it has the specific meaning that is only really used about very everyday actions like eating brushing your teeth, taking a shower. And it means I've already done this thing. In the specific situation of I'm expected not to have done it, perhaps. So let me just, again, it's weird to just explain grammar. It's best to just look at example sentences, and it's really straightforward. And just sort of have an open mind and just accept that this is how it works. Or at least try to. Now you can also add the word 已经, which actually means already. So this, I guess you could consider this the full version of this phrase, if you like. So 他已经吃过了. So anyway, those are the basics of 过 and how you'll generally see it in those three different contexts. And it's a pretty basic structure, but it's good to hear these grammar explanations sometimes. We certainly, although we do believe that, again, grammar is acquired through listening and reading, truly acquired that way, it is nice to hear these explanations for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is if you hear a decent explanation, and I hope that explanation does count as decent enough. If you do hear a decent explanation of a particular grammar point with some good examples to explain it, it does a couple of things. One thing it does is it makes you realize or possibly click with something consciously that you already knew, which is a feeling of accomplishment. It just feels good. It's like, oh, that's how 过 is used. I mean, I understood that. I've been understanding sentences, but I just never consciously thought about it. And it's nice to be like, okay, tick, I know that thing. It's cool. Which is one of the, I guess you could say, one of the benefits of traditional learning in that sense, which we've talked about before. It gives you that tick the box feeling, like I've got that grammar point down. So that's one thing. But also, I don't want to, Phil and I both don't want to say that explaining grammar points is not a good thing to do in classes or sort of traditional learning situations. Because there's certainly a lot of evidence that goes to show that understanding a grammar point, and again, hearing it explained properly, can allow you to acquire grammar quicker perhaps, or at least be aware of it, allowed to click with it quicker than you may have done if you were just listening and reading to sentences without properly thinking about it. Do you see what I mean? So again, nothing is completely cut and dry with linguistic research, but we think there's a lot of value to it still.
Hey guys, if you like this video and you'd like us to help you reach literacy and fluency in Mandarin Chinese as fast as possible without all the headache of traditional learning methods, just head to mandarinblueprint.com to learn more.